Okay, so we're going to talk about something that sounds, well, completely backward, but it's actually the absolute key to being profitable in the markets. We're talking about how losing, even losing more often than you win, can actually make you rich.
So, to get started, let me tell you this wild story. It honestly sounds like the beginning of a joke, right? A monkey, a dartboard, and a list of stocks. But for 14 years, the Wall Street Journal actually ran this contest. They pitted a monkey throwing darts, literally random chance, against some of the highest paid experts on the planet.
And the results? I mean, they were pretty shocking. After all that time, with all their fancy degrees in research, the pros only managed to beat the monkey 43% of the time. And that tells you something really, really important. Being good at predicting the future isn't the secret to winning.
This leads us straight into the biggest trap for pretty much every new trader. It's something people call the Holy Grail syndrome. You know what I'm talking about? That endless, frustrating search for the one perfect indicator, that one magic system that promises you'll never, ever take a loss? Let me tell you, it's a total myth. And it's the very thing that keeps most traders broke.
So here's the big mindset shift you have to make. The market, it just doesn't care if you're right on one trade. It doesn't reward your ego. What it does reward is something way more powerful: cold, hard discipline and the skill of managing probabilities over the long haul.
All right, so let's get to the real secret here. It's a concept called expectancy. And this is the point where you stop thinking like a gambler who's just looking for that one lucky hit and you start thinking like a business owner. For a serious business, a losing trade isn't some big failure. Nope. It's just the cost of goods sold, a predictable expense, just like paying rent or keeping the lights on.
And this is the formula that runs that whole business. Now, I know, it might look a little scary with all the parentheses, but the idea behind it is actually super simple. You just take your win rate and multiply it by your average winning trade. Then you subtract your loss rate times your average losing trade. If that final number is greater than 0, then congratulations, you have a profitable system. It really is that straightforward.
To really nail this down, let's just imagine two different traders. This little story is going to show you crystal clear why your win rate, that thing everyone loves to brag about, can be a complete and total vanity metric. So in one corner, you've got trader A, we'll call him the win rate hero. This is the guy who loves telling everyone how often he's right. And in the other corner, we have trader B, the quiet, disciplined professional. She doesn't talk much because she's busy focusing on the math. Now just look at trader A's numbers. A 70% win rate. That feels incredible, right? It feeds the ego. But he gets scared, so he cuts his winners short, only making about $100 on average. But he hates being wrong, so he lets his losers run, hoping they'll turn around. This leads to a massive $300 average loss. So over 10 trades, he wins 7 for a nice $700. But his 3 losses? They cost him $900. You see the problem? He's actually down $200.
Now let's look at trader B. Her win rate is only 40%. She's wrong more often than she's right, and she's totally okay with that. Why? Because she is disciplined. She cuts her losses quick at an average of just $100. But when she's right, she lets her winners run, averaging $300. So over 10 trades, her 4 wins rack up $1,200. And those 6 losses, they only set her back $600. So what's the net result? A $600 profit.
And that right there, that's the whole point. Trader B gets it. She understands that losing is just a part of the business. She's mastered the art of losing well, which, weirdly enough, is the only way you can actually win in the long run.
Okay, so you've got a system with positive expectancy. Great, but how do you actually use it without blowing up your account when you hit a losing streak? I mean, it happens, right? The answer is your shield, really strict money management. It's the only thing that guarantees you survive long enough for the math to finally work out in your favor.
And this brings us to the golden rule. And I mean, this is non-negotiable. You never, ever risk more than 1 or 2% of your entire account on any single trade. Look, this isn't about being scared. It's about being a professional. It's what gives you the runway you need to get through those inevitable strings of losses while you wait for those big winners your system is designed to catch.
Because look, if you ignore this rule, you run into some really terrifying math. Let's just say you get reckless, you have a terrible streak, and you cut your account in half. You're down 50%. Ouch.
It's what we call the brutal math of drawdowns. You don't just need to make 50% back. No. You now have to make a 100% return. You have to double your money just to get back to where you started. That's why protecting your capital isn't just important, it's everything. But once you really get this, once you embrace this new mindset, something amazing happens. You suddenly have 4 powerful levers you can pull to actively improve your trading math, to actually increase your system's expectancy over time.
So what can you do? Well, 1, you can work on getting bigger wins, aiming for rewards that are 2 or 3 times what you're risking. 2, you can shrink your average loss by being absolutely ruthless with your stop losses. 3, you can be way more selective, right? Only taking the A-plus setups that meet every single one of your rules. And number 4, and this might be the hardest one, you just stay consistent. You give one system enough time and enough trades for the law of large numbers to do its thing.
You know, there's this legendary story about a group of traders called the Turtles. They weren't geniuses or anything, they were just regular people who were given a simple set of trading rules that had a positive expectancy, and their only job was to have the discipline to follow those rules perfectly. They knew their edge wasn't some crystal ball, it was self-control and simple arithmetic.
So, what's your homework? If you're really ready to stop gambling and start treating this like a business, here's what you're going to do. Go get your trading journal for your last 30 to 50 trades. Plug all your wins and losses into that expectancy formula we talked about and get your score. No feelings, no stories, just the cold, hard numbers.
So I'll leave you with this question. Forget how you feel about your trading. Forget that one amazing win or that one crushing loss. What does the math really say? Because that number, whatever it is the true measure of your skill. It's the real foundation of your career. And once you know it, you can finally get to work on the stuff that actually matters.